And welcome to the DryWave Super Tsunami as we flood Facebook with recovery goodness, wet it with wellness and wash well-being across the social media matrix with an added mix of tales from the crypt as we do a deep dive into what drives the addict mind, the horror stories that we thought we left behind, and the behaviours which can come back at any time. Like the tide. How did we survive? How do we overcome the mental torture? And how do we move forward without going back, mate? I need to stop on them coffees, right? Because otherwise Ben starts getting a little tongue-tied, right? So we've gone from Mental Wellness Mondays with Manny. And now we are in the studio with the host with the most from pillar to pillar, post to post, coast to coast. It's your man Will Power alongside our cheeky guest tonight. We've got RJ. RJ started out as a grime MC from South Manchester, making a name for himself and performing at respective venues such as the Academy and Band on the Wall from a young age, from 2006 to 2009. Then, as life does, it took over. RJ had some time away, and then returned back in 2017, working with V with the I with the R with the U with the we are the goo the coronavirus. Do you remember? JSD. So JSD from Virus Syndicate. I mean, I've heard that Virus Syndicate are doing amazing now because every time somebody types in virus, they come to the top of Google, right? So hold tight, Virus Syndicate, JSD, and the rest of the gang medication family. RJ quickly went back to his roots, releasing grime anthems such as Air Max, Manchester Grime, and Padwork before opening up about his experiences that led him to where he is now. So, as we said before, we've got the grassroots RJ coming through with Homegrown, which is your new album. RJ, welcome to the studio. I'm just going to unzip this jacket, like a professional.
Whoa, check this jacket out here. No.
Come on, man. Got to unzip the jacket. Hold tight all the listeners, man. Tight all the listeners. Have we got some shout outs for the listeners, and then we'll just move forward with the whole wave. Let me have a look what's going on the lives. Oh my God, Jessica Porter, thank you for the share. And yes, Deborah Brennan. Yes, Chris Shaw, he's back. And yes, Chris Rowland, thank you for the share, guys. I can see you've all shared. Wayne Warhurst is here as well. Jeanette Turner. All the gang are out.
Chris Shaw, Deborah Brennan. They're all there. Emma Richardson. Tia.
So RJ. What brings you out at 9 o'clock at night?
Come spend a couple of hours with you, fantastic people.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, bro.
But obviously, thank you for having me here. I appreciate any opportunity to come and share a bit of who I am, my journey, and especially my music. So yeah, honoured to be here.
The album's massive, man.
Bro, the album.
Mate, I was training hard to the album.
The album.
Mate, did about 2 hours straight.
The album.
Money Minded, all the past tracks. We're gonna go through a journey of this
huge.
tonight.
I love that cheeky. So, did you produce that all with JSD?
Yeah, so JSD is the producer,
yeah,
the engineer of it all. Obviously, I wrote everything and performed everything. I'm the artist. And, yeah, it came about really. To be honest, I was sort of in EP mode. I was working on a few different EPs. Like 4 to 6 tracks, something like that. And I was working on this one about my life. It wasn't called Homegrown at the time. It was just basically I had Waiting. The third track Waiting.
Yes.
That was the first track I wrote. I had that. I had I had Drinking. I had a couple of others.
I'm not going to ask what that's about.
Yeah. The names are pretty self-explanatory. Initially, it was literally just blunt names. Do you know what I mean? Like they are about. I like that. About. And then it started growing. I just started getting more tracks. Then Jay was like, you know what? It's quite a serious project. It needs a couple of bangers in there. So we did like Your Money Minded, You Take It. They became the tracks about the mad times. And then I was listening to it with my mate who does all my videos, James. And he's sort of there with everything I do anyway. Do you know what I mean? He guides me. He was the guy who used to record me in those 2006 to 9 period. And he was like, you know what? There's parts of your story you've not told here. Like, you've missed bits out. There needs to be more. And then that's when I was like, well, if I'm going to do more, it's going to have to be an album. Like, you can't be doing an EP. You know, you're getting over them numbers there. Once you get over 6, really,
then you're looking
into mixtape album territory. But it wasn't a mixtape, you know, because it was obviously about one thing, which is my life. So, yeah, that's how it come about, as being an album. And as soon as I thought of it as an album, I wrote about 6 tracks in like 2 weeks. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, which for me, that's a lot because I work full time and that as well. You
it's
know,
difficult to do, right?
Writing on my lunch breaks and that. But yeah, it was just through the roof. Like, literally, I was thinking about it all day, and as soon as my lunch hit, I was out in the car writing for an hour. You know what I mean? And yeah, went mad. And obviously, you've got the product that you've got now. It obviously took quite a bit of time to sort of get it to where it is as well. Once all the tracks were made, mixing it and mastering it. And
I'll tell you now, it sounds, you know, from like I produce music myself, and I'm a writer and you know, an MC, a rapper. Yeah. It just sounds crystal, bro. Oh, I mean, like, in fact, I think I'm gonna give JSD a call about, you know, some future stuff that I want to do, because this is the second JSD, because we had thinking. We did Rio.
Me and Rio was in there. I was in the session after Rio. I'd probably been working on
One second, guys. Sorry, can we bump up RJ's volume on his mic? We've got a few people saying we can't hear it too well. Is this on this one?
No, it's not, but it's on. Maybe if RJ just turn that mic towards RJ, so it's like right towards you.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we
come
go.
Right towards
Crystal
Thanks
mouth.
for the shout, guys. Sometimes we don't capture that kind of thing, because we can also hear him in the studio as well as through our ears. So nice one.
Yeah. So yeah, like Rio was in there. He was the session before me. I'd probably been working on my project a bit longer. He came in, and so I do basically fortnightly sessions.
Right.
And I think when he was doing his projects, he was in there every week. He got his done in quite a short space.
So
of
it
time.
must have took you what, 6 months, a year?
I wrote Waiting in 2019.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you can hear the maturity and the wisdom through it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm noticing this as well. We grew up. How old are you?
31.
31. So I'm 30. I'm not telling you how old I am. A lot younger.
I'll slip you up in a minute. I'll slip you up.
Listen, I'm 38, so I grew up at the times when JSD was...
you know JJ, knows yeah.
When JSD was performing at, like, Sidewinder, it was up and coming, kind of 2009 era, and that was with all the V with the I, with the R, with the U, with the We Are the Crew, the Coronavirus kind of bars, and, you know, you had Nicky D, Goldfinger, so there was JSD, Nicky D, Goldfinger, and DJ Mark 1 at the time. And obviously the bars back then were just kind of like, they were all like kind of hype bars, like, well, I mean, they had something else going, but that's another story. But what you're starting to hear now, RJ, is this like wisdom coming through, because we've all talked. Yeah, come through if you'd like. There's some.
Oh, yo, RJ's got fans already.
Fans are bursting in it. You know.
Busted in.
Wow. So fangirls coming through.
A little bit, eh?
So we're starting to hear like wisdom and maturity coming through the bars, and I guess that's coming through. We've all took some pretty crazy routes with life, right? I'm not going to tell people what's on the tracks, but just kind of take us back to your youth. What was it like as you were growing up? How did you get into music?
I got into music just. I used to write lyrics to no beat on my own in my bedroom at like 13, 14. It was just something I did. I've always been passionate about language and putting it together, you know, and rhyming sort of became the method of doing that. Do you know what I mean? I liked English and that at school, do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, rhyming things, even from a GCSE, I wrote one. The question was, my GCSE English exam, the question was, describe yourself. And I thought, well, first of all, that's my favourite subject anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can answer that pretty well. Yeah. And then secondly, like, everyone else is probably just going to do, my name is da-da-da. You know what I mean? And I just wrote a rap. You know what I mean? Just made it rhyme. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I thought I'm either going to fail or it's going to do well. Do you know what I mean? And I got an A, so it was all right. Brilliant. Do you know what I'm saying? But,
yeah, I love that.
that was sort of what I was into anyway. And then obviously about 15 years old, I started hearing grime music. I basically recorded a track at a lad. I'm from Sale, and there was a guy year above me at school. He said he had a little studio set up. He didn't. Yeah, well, he did, but he was like, you know, like a sound system.
What was his name? Just
his name's Sam. I don't want to beat him up too bad, but his
Yo,
name's
Sam.
No. But he was. You know what? No, he had a sound system and a mic, and he pressed record. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we did back in the day. And I went there, recorded a few rap bars over Fat Joe Lean Back. It was awful. I was awful. But when he burnt the CD, he burnt a Sidewinder tape on there. And I've gone home with that, and that was like track 3. And I get to this every time. I listen to my track, I'm like, oh, I'm not really that happy with it. Then I get to that, and I'm like, what is this? Do you know what I'm saying? And that was my introduction to grime.
This new sound, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Faster.
Who was it?
Kano. Fuming was on there. It was just that. It was
mad.
Just everyone was on there. But I remember Kano spitting over Ghetto Coyote rhythm, and me just being glued, like playing it every night. Panasonic Walkman. Earphones in every night. Do you know what I mean? I want a computer guy. I wasn't really out and about on the street. Sometimes I played basketball, I played sports. You know what I mean? But that was me in my room playing this music and writing. And then
what age is this now?
This is 15.
Right,
and then as you do, really, you start to find people who are into the same thing. Now, being from Sale, there wasn't that many guys doing it. Yeah. But in my year, there was about 2 or 3 of us, maybe 4 of us. You know, I ended up clashing one of my mates in Ashton on Mersey school toilets.
You know Zyklon, don't you?
I know Zyklon, yeah, from like youth club days. And yeah, just like
big up Zyke.
Started chilling with them guys, and obviously like making music. Do you know what I mean? And then all my friends, like the people that became my friends, they all became my friends through that. The lads that I'd known from primary school and that, we sort of went different ways. Do you know what I mean? This is what I was into, and I was always sort of into it. I just not found it yet. Do you know what I mean? And then I found it and hit the ground running with it, really. And yeah, obviously, like, made a lot of music, you know, as I said, in my mate James's bedroom. Like, you know what, I wish I could remember everything we made, because there was that much of it.
Trust
you know
me,
what I'm
bro.
saying? And I imagine everyone who's done its journey is the same. Like, I used to have a computer, with just files. Like, I'd probably have 200 files of tracks, but then in them tracks, there'd be like bars 1, bars 2, bars 3, and I'm talking 50 pages.
Would you go on
bars?
Would you pick a subject matter and write a load of bars and that, and then pick another subject matter and write a load of bars? And you do that with your boys, innit?
Yeah.
So you had these back-to-back sessions, 16 bars of just write 16.
That's it, yeah.
Or 32. Don't be going on.
Yeah, and,
writing like
and wherever
55.
you went, someone would have a beat on the phone and you'd be spitting. And if you spat the same bars as last week, you was a muppet. Yeah. You had to have fresh bars all the
Keep
time.
It fresh.
And that's what I come up in. So now, like, it's weird for me to see people freestyling off phones. Yeah. Because it's like, nah, you don't
we
do
didn't
that.
do that.
You had to learn your bars because you didn't have a phone back. You didn't have a phone with your bars on back then. You had a 3310. Yeah.
And then you had to drill it into your head.
Yeah.
And you had this like.
Yeah.
Your mind split in two, didn't it? Because you'd be putting bars, you'd be picking bars out of your head.
Yeah.
And like stringing them onto other bars. And it was like, I thought this is magic, this. Because I'm like, just got this collection of bars.
So were you the same then as well?
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Same
I'm
age as
this.
well?
Yeah.
Same age?
Well, I mean, I'm 38.
No, I know, but
same
when?
Same
but it's
general,
the same, it's exactly the same era.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with Sidewinder. Well, I mean, I grew up listening to hardcore first because that was my kind of thing.
You got the jungle era, didn't
then
you?
I got into jungle. Yeah. So I became a drum and bass MC, although I didn't really want to, you know, but I was just good at it. But, you know, I was a grimy cat. The first album we wrote was Organised Chaos, which was a grime album, you know, so it was like, and that was around like the Shifty days, you know, like, just, you know, when Dizzy Rascal was coming out, like, you know, people heard of Dizzy Rascal when he brought out Bonkers. It's like, no, we heard of him 10 years before that, Dizzy Rascal, Wiley, all them cats, you know, like Kano when he was growing up, and what a great conversation.
And like obviously so that's what, as soon as I started hearing grime, I started hearing Manchester grime, like your Shifty, your Hypes, your Wrigley, your Dino, you know, and that's, and J Virus, and that's what I became obsessed with. You know, they became the people I looked up to, because
they smashed
because that was home. Do you know what I mean? They were sounding like me. And so I you know, I did all right. You know, I put some music out and that. I ended up doing a couple of shows. As I say, I performed at Academy 3 supporting Akala, which was huge. You know, I just ended up doing a couple of low-key shows for this promoter, and he ended up saying, "Oh, I've got Akala next month. Do you want to do it?" And how it worked back then, and you'll remember this: if you could sell tickets, you could perform.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it was like, you got to sell 20, 30 tickets.
I've got a funny story about Akala. If you want to
go on,
go on, get it out.
So we got booked to perform with Akala in Carlisle, right?
Yeah.
And it was buzzing because we remembered Akala from when he did. I think it was called Shakespeare.
So that was the tour I performed on. It's not a rumour.
So I think it was the same. I think it was the same tour.
Yeah.
Kid you not?
Yeah.
So yeah, we get by. I'm thinking, right, Akala. So anyway, we got hold of some kid. The kid was about 18, but it was great on doing films. It was when all this digital media just kind of started and stuff. So it was like, yeah, we need to capture this, right? Anyway, cut a long story short, we get to the venue. And then we come in and there's like a table with like, it's got like bananas on it, strawberries, little chocolates, all fruits, all laid out, dead nice, yeah. And then Akala stood there like that, so we're like, yes, Akala, what's happening, bro? Like that, and he's like, and we're thinking, what's up with this kid, yeah? And he's like, he's got his trainers off, you know, in the VIP area, and he stood in front of a mirror, right?
Go on.
He stood in front of a mirror like boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just Manchester boys, isn't it? So we're like, yeah, well, this food looks nice. Yeah, let's have a bit. And he's like, no, you can't have that. That's my rider. There was enough there to feed the 5,000, right? And he's like, but he was one of my. So he's Miss Dynamite's brother, isn't he? Yeah. So he's like one of my heroes, right? And I'm like, and then we said, look, can we get an interview with you? We brought this kid down. He's great at, you know, digital media. Can we get an interview? And he said, no, you can't. He said, because I don't know who's going to watch it. And we're like, and it just, you know, when you meet you just you never want to meet your stars anyway. Yeah.
Do you know what? I met him at the sound check, and he literally just come up and said, "Are you performing? Are you supporting tonight, lads?" And we were like, "Yeah, I was 17. Do you know what I mean?" It was just like, yeah. And that was it. He didn't come out. Obviously, he stayed wherever in the green room or where we weren't anyway for our bit, and then
where
come
you
out.
wasn't.
You know what I mean? And then come in his bit. So you know, a similar experience in one way, really. You know?
Because you want to meet him and they just to be really cool and really nice and stuff. Because
and he's speaking deep. This guy now. He's on a spiritual vibe now.
No, I believe he speaks on a quality and so he's extremely articulate and he's become a face for equality.
Yeah,
so
he's a very, very intelligent man.
He's extremely intelligent, but extremely ignorant as well.
Well, he was. Maybe he's might have changed now.
Everybody can change.
Yeah.
Everybody
Which we're going to
we're going back there. We're going back over 15 years there, aren't we? So
that's the beginning of the journey, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And then from there, sort of, just made music and stuff. But obviously, got involved in life stuff as you do as a young lad. Do you know what I mean? And bit of this, a bit of that, and eventually, you know, I just ended up becoming someone who was a bit wrapped up in myself to start with. You know, became a very self-centered person. I believed the world owed me something, you know, and it was unfair that I didn't get it, you know, and I went out and got as much of it as I possibly could, but I squandered as much of it as I got as well. Do you know what I mean? And
that's in one of your tracks, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that in Mum?
It is.
It is, mate. I've been on this.
Yeah. Feeling like the world owed me something. So yeah. And like so, you know, just got sucked into a way of life what I wasn't really brought up to be involved in.
Yeah.
But it just became locked in it. Do you know what I mean? And prioritized the things that today are at the bottom of the list. You know, money, having a nice car, jewelry. You know. Being out in a casino, spending money, gambling, you know, and partying, you know. I thought that stuff gave me power. I thought it gave me, I thought it made me a man. I thought it made me important. I thought people respected me because of it, you know. And they didn't, you know. And it was all I'd built up this lie in my head and this false identity, really. And I struggle to say, it's still hard to say it was a false identity because I was that guy. Yeah. I wasn't a fake. I was who I'd become, but it wasn't who I was meant to be. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there was a lot of incongruence going on.
You're getting so much love coming through here because I just need to tell you.
I'm gonna watch it later. I don't want to be distracted.
You're so clear and your message is so.
Yeah,
what's the word I'm looking for? Because you're more articulate than me. You're just very clear and concise in your message, you know, and that was so articulately spoken.
Yeah, you can tell that you've been on a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, I've done a lot of, I've had to do a lot of looking at myself. You know, it's all right saying I've done it, but I had to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like it needed to be done. And I got to the age of 25 and a half, going on 26. And I was just a severely unhappy person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Surrounded by people, surrounded by mates, and obviously surrounded by a load of drama as well, as what goes with all that.
There was so much drama back in the day.
A lot, but I was a severely unhappy man. You know, I looked at myself in the mirror thinking, how did you become this guy? Do you know what I mean? This guy who really... I used to look down on people like that, and that's wrong as well. I shouldn't have looked down on people like that either, but I did, and then I became one of them. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, basically, I had to ask for help. You know what I mean? I had to go to the right places and ask the right people for help, and I was very fortunate that I found the right places and I found the right.
So
help.
you work with young people now, right?
I work. So my day job is a PE teacher.
That's amazing.
I've also been training to be a counsellor for 4 years, and I'm basically qualified in that. I've done my 100 hours now. Yeah.
So because of that, we're gonna really touch on the surface of what you did, but we're not gonna go into loads and loads of crazy detail, you know, because kids are very impressionable. But we're gonna touch on the surface of some stuff, and we're also gonna listen to the story within your poetry, within your words, within your music. Leading on to that, let's put on the first track, guys. What would you like to put on?
I think we should kick it off with bars, just because it's a good feel-good tune. It'll get people in the spirits. It shows you sort of my music. And it touches on a few things as well, but this is just like a good nostalgic grime garage feeling track that I started this year with. And this is what really got my energy going this year. This started a little buzz for me that I've managed to get and maintain this year in 2021.
What a brilliant track to start off with. So we are now going to listen to RJ's first track on the album, Homegrown. We're going to send out links to everybody that's been watching this.
This one's not on the album.
This
out at the start of the year. This is bars.
This is before the album, man. This is the catalyst to the album.
Yeah, man.
Everybody that's been listening tonight, we are going to send you the link to the track. Just give us a cheeky little comment, say hi, so we can give you a shout out after the track, and send some love through to RJ right about now.
Aye. Quick one for them. Active. Hey. And we tell them like, bar sponsored by RJ. Beat by Show Them G, let me show them. One for the G rhyme, bro them. Yeah, I'm a giant, so fee 5 for them. Beat rhymes, flows, check. Got them like these guys don't, yeah. Used to go 2, 3, 5, have 2, 3 live, and it's end up 3, 5 all left. Leave that life alone, dread. Nowadays it's peace I go get. Any negativity, be like go there. If the persistent, be like Joe S. Right hand dip, left up, bang, back to my feet like Gomez. I'd bear wobblies, I'd bear hurdles, but I'm still here on the street like roadman. But I'm not a road man, I just flow man. I've been low like loads when they go down. Used to like slow jams from the 90s. That's my scene, sound like an old man. I've been about since flow down. If you didn't know that, you were still in school when I sold that. Cold it, I flooded her after was no packs. Like a big belly that is so fat. L, hold that. I've L barrels like I'm a blazer, but I don't stay there. That's why I'm laser sharp with the bars, cause I work on them daily. Never been lazy. Had a little phase where I drank too much and I got a bit crazy. Took another L, got help and I made it. Now I'm back doing what I should have done ages ago. I play with the flow. I'm grind sunlight, trace the ghost, and I'm making it known. I can aim with a smoke like buff in your face if you don't wanna play with the bro. Any day I can go with a week of the month, I'm good, but I'm based to them all. So they say that I'm no top spitter and I'll be in the face with the most. Cause my team's bars, and it's been like that since Walton. Fanta fruit twist and a vodka and we're rolling. BMX pegs to the shop, get a loading. Adidas trackies had holes in, but I still wreck them, never got no jit. We was just kids on a road, ish. Love them days to the death, man, I don't wish anything was different. It's all learning, shots to the bar, bro, it was all bearing. Used to roam solo, looking for a purpose, can't lie now, still do a bit of lurking. These days working, I'm back murking, then I go stews to a track of his curtains. It's just me and Jay, I've got burning, ready for the takeoff out of this world. And, the flow's too dirty. Man, follow me on the Insta, but never interact. But when I see, then I like, yo, it's sick that track. I'm like, oh, you heard me. I've been away since early, really awake though, doing these woke guys dirty. Little shade, I must be brave already. You know what, keyboard can't hurt me. No way, I don't go chase what they do, cause I know I got my own lane. All their videos, they all flow the same, so I keep my ting alone all the way. That's why I'm on Black Cloud building a ting. Yo, I ain't tryna jump onto drill to fit in. I just do mine proud and I do mine sound. And if you feel that, then you're ill, give me skin. Look, I work with producers. You get beats off YouTube. I ain't making you too tough, but that's weak, don't you lose. My vids are creative, yours are just drones and rentals. Seem to be big on the playlist, why? Cause my flow is mental, yeah. So let me go mad, ain't just any old lad. Got bars and flows that I bury those, man. Yo, your flow is like a very old type, no fat, but I'm trying to get a bit of no cap. Hope that I adapted like a phone jack. Flow classic like a no track, no gas. Consistent, no gaps. I got one vision and all that, like RJ's got them bars, RJ's got that flow. You rented bikes and your cars. Mine is just fully homegrown. Show them king with a beat. Jay did his thing with a mix. Jay Khalid's gonna shoot my knee, and everybody's gonna get his. Gun finger skank. Everybody knows I come with the gang. Yo, no one left. We trust in the farm and we'll get ours. We trust in the plan. And again, I'm like gun finger skank. Everybody knows I come with the gang. Yo, no one's left. We trust in the farm and we'll get ours. We trust in the plan. Hey, bars sponsored by RJ. You get me? Medication. 2020.
Medication bars sponsored by RJ. Absolute fire bars. So welcome back to the DryWave Super Tsunami. Let's get that share button spammed right now as we flood Facebook, wet it up with recovery goodness, wet it with wellness, wash well-being across the social media matrix with an added mix of tales from the crypt as we do a deep dive into what drives the addict mind, the horror stories we thought we left behind and the behaviours which can come back like the tide at any time. How did we survive? How do we overcome the mental torture? And how do we move forward without going back? That was absolute fire. I want to give a big shout out to Sherry Horton, a shout out to Sarah Jane Burns, and yes, Jessica Porter. Yo, them bars are fire, she says. Yes. So Donna Feeney coming in with the punch and the bombs and all the just crazy stuff going on, man. Thomas I can't say his second name. What's his second name? Yes, Pros. Is that Pros the rapper? Pros. All right, okay, cool. But yes, big ups, bro. Let's get you back on.
He used to spit with me when I was younger, though.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Oh, there we go.
A little old school boy there. Big ups to Star Mags and Wayne Warhurst. He wants Stu Allen back. He's too old school. Is Wayne Warhurst. Jessica. Listen, everybody that wants a link to the album, that was just the catalyst to the album.
I think
we took that back right to the grassroots, right?
Yeah, well, sound-wise, yeah. You know, that came out in January. It's what I started this year with.
Brilliant.
But sound-wise, yeah, like when I heard the beat, that's produced by a guy called Show Them, who was a producer from back in the day as well. And he sent me the beat, and I was just like, yeah, I got to do something over this. And
massive.
It came out, and as I say, that's what started sort of the energy off of me. I've had some good energy around me since that track dropped. So yeah, it's been a good track for me this year, that one.
And the video?
Yeah, the video was obviously shot on a fisheye lens, and like
shout out to.
Oh, was it?
I wore like a 90s raver outfit with my hair down and a hat on and all, glasses on. Do you know what I mean?
Popping off, right?
Yeah. I'd had fun with it and
show
people a side of me that they maybe hadn't seen before, which is a bit of a joker as well, you know, and I can have a good time rather than just being serious all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. If anybody wants a link to the album, I've just
have you shared it?
Yeah, I've just took that down because it's a wrong link.
Right, okay.
I want people to comment RJ in the comments now. If you want a link to the album, let's just see RJ in the comments. If you liked what you heard. Then comment RJ right now, and we will personally get back to you and send you that link on a personal level. Shout. Yeah, because I really heard that kind of grimy. It was definitely that JSD. Did JSD produce that?
No, JSD engineered it. Show Them.
Oh, right, okay. Show them. Yeah. Yes, we've got a few RJs coming through right now. Sherry, Star Mags, anybody else that wants the album, sending through to them. Then just give a little RJ. It's popping off again, mate. People love that then, bro. They really, really love that. So that was a little bit of fun. It was a catalyst to the album, right?
Yeah. Basically, as I say, the album was in process from 2019, and I wanted it out in 2020 really, but the pandemic and stuff just sort of slowed me down, which has ended up being a blessing because it slowed me down and helped me get things better. But at the time, I had other tracks I wanted to put out before the album. I feel like my sound's gonna keep growing, and these tracks needed to come out before the album rather than after it. So Bars was definitely one of them. So as I say, I started the year with that one. I put out a track called Gym Talk, and then Northern Soul. And Northern Soul was sort of what you've just said. That was the one that had to come out before the album because it set the scene and the tone for the album, you know. And then the album is basically, you know, my life journey really, from sort of, I say from birth to now, because I've got obviously the track Waiting in there as me as a kid. Do you know what I mean? I've wrote everything from the perspective of being there. So some of the stuff you hear, it might sound a bit mad, like I'm out there doing that now, but I'm not. You know what I mean? It was written from the perspective of being there, and then and the album was the first time I was able to go into them times and write like I was there, and not affect me and not sit in it for too long. It took 4.5 years, of me changing my life to be able to do that in a therapeutic way without it affecting me negatively. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the great thing about the pen. It's a great thing about poetry. It's a great thing about words and being a creative. You know, you're allowed to bring them elements of self which you may have chose to left behind, and then bring them into that kind of creative space and really turn that negative experience into a piece of art which is going to go on to create positive experiences, right? And that's the amazing thing about life as well, that kind of seed of life, that almost a blueprint in life where we can take what's negative and turn it into a positive. You know, I think we're all creatives at heart, right? Check me going all philosophical. It was that Alan Watts that came through there.
We're just sitting back. I think Alan Watts is tapping in. I tell you what I was, and I mentioned this to you before as well, what I was really impressed with as well, apart from the lyrics and the music, and I could really appreciate that, was the video and how much effort and time and creativity has gone into Gym Talk that I've seen. Obviously this track now, Bars, it's massive. So tell us about how you sat down with your guy and planned that out.
So, I mean, first of all credit to my boy James Killeen, because he is a genius in that world, you know, and high-level cinematographer and creative director who believes in me 1 million, more than I believe in myself sometimes, and it's important to have someone like that around you, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm also very fortunate that he's one of my best mates, you know, from day one, and he wants to do this stuff for me as well, and with me, do you know what I mean? But Bars, the idea came, basically we wanted to do I wanted a quick video, and he went, we can do quick, but it's got to have the right energy with it because of how the thing is, that track, I wrote that track over a matter of weeks, let's say, and I recorded it. I did 2 takes, and we used the second. So for me, it was a quick thing. It was just me spraying bars. So I'm thinking in my head, this is a quick one. Let's do a quick video, get it out, get the ball rolling. But he was like, nah, it's a bit more special, that track. It's got good energy around it. We need to do something special with the video. And that's when he had the idea of the fisheye lens. And then I sort of came through with all the different outfits.
I need to see this video.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Basically, most of it's just shot down. We hired a mill out. Most of it's just shot down the mill, but on a fisheye lens, so it all looks a bit,
crazy.
And obviously, he was like, to keep it fresh, we're gonna need to keep changing you up a bit, because obviously there's not camera movement. Do you know what I mean? So I just bought loads of different outfits, and on one of them dug out an old Nike shell suit. You know what I mean? Like even baggy and all
old
that.
School, man.
Proper old school.
Fully old school.
And
did it still have hot rocks in it?
But we just had fun with it, you know. And he said, as soon as I put that 90s outfit on, he went, you became a character. Do you know what I mean? You became a different person. And he just said, I think people are going to like this one, because a lot of my videos have been quite serious. A lot of my music is quite serious, you know.
Can be, can't it?
And he was like, I think people are going to like this one. But the video, the process sort of goes with, I'm a firm believer of, I'm hands-on with everything I do, so I'm part of the process of any of my work. So if Jay's making me a beat, I'm next to him while he's making the beat. Jimbo's making my video, I'm part of that process. But I also, sorry, James, but he's my boy, so I call him Jimbo. But if I'm also a firm believer of allow people to do what they're good at. Do you know what I mean? He's mint and amazing at making music videos. So I give him the track, I send him the lyrics, and he does his thing with his mind, you know what I mean? And he comes up with the concepts, he'll storyboard it, he'll send me a treatment for it, and we go from there, really, and that's how we work. From there, obviously, things never go to plan. Do you know what I mean? Things always have to chop and change. The weather, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
the venues, money, the hiring equipment, stuff like that, you know, so we always adapt and we always make it work in the end. But that's sort of how the process goes. And I think for bars, it's I've not said this yet, and it feels like the right time to say it now. He was like, for me, for bars, you should have put yourself down as an executive producer because of how much input I had on that one. But I was like, nah, like I'm the artist. Do you know what I mean? That's all right. But that's what I'm saying. Like we work together on it.
I feel when artists come together. Whether you're a visual artist, you know, sound tech, a sound producer, you know, a lyricist, everybody's input is always it's just a collaborative experiment, right? When creatives get together, mate, it goes off. I mean, we do it like daily, don't we? We're like, pop.
Bro, the energy sometimes when we're just talking about things. I'll be wired. Do you know when I'll meet up to train him on a Monday, and next minute there's like a tornado in the park. And I get in the car, I'm still spinning. I'm like, yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, JSD has a right laugh out of me and James because like we sit there and like find details. You know what I mean? And get like we color grade, or he color grades my videos to films. You know what I mean? So Bars was color graded to I think it was The Town. You know the film, The Town?
The Town, yeah.
Bars was colour graded to that. Northern Soul was colour graded to Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
So what do you mean by colour graded for the guys that are listening?
We take the film, so we take the reference of a film. We look at the colours present in that film throughout or through a scene or whatever.
That's deep. That.
And we try and match the colours to the vibe of the video.
Yeah, I need to work.
And he just JSD just has a laugh out of us. He was like, "You little weirdos," you know what I mean? But we love it. That's what, you know.
Hey, but he's the same with his music, right?
With the engineering, he says things to me sometimes, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, just do what you're doing, innit?" You know what I mean? So yeah.
That hi hat doesn't sound right.
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
It sounds too. Needs to be more.
and I'm just like, how do I sound?
That's all we're bothered about, bro. Is how do I sound? So the album takes us through. There's a lot of fun in the Bars track, right? The album takes us through a real journey. Like you say, it gets more serious because life is serious, right? Life is tragic. I mean, we only know through COVID how tragic life gets, and from your own lips, life took you down a road that you never felt like you would venture down, right? It became all about the party, became all about you and what you could get and how you could feed self, right?
Yep.
And then I'm guessing when you got help, that was from a group, a fellowship of people that were there to help you out. And if anybody is part of fellowships who are listening out there, you might get onto this. What was life like when you started on that journey of self-discovery, right?
It was hard. It was very hard. Obviously, you know, the main problem I had was alcohol, and the effect it has on me when I drink it, you know, and obviously that grew over time and got worse. My dad is a sober alcoholic, so when I saw myself getting into the same sort of scenario that he probably got himself into, you know, a bit different because we were different people and lived different lives, obviously age difference and stuff as well, but I reached out to him and just basically asked him where could I go, you know, and he pointed me in the right direction, you know, and I kind of knew that's where I needed to go anyway, you know. And I went there, and it was tough, you know, and I didn't stop straight away. It took a couple of months, you know, but it took a couple of months of getting worse, you know, and the pain getting worse, and literally not even my behaviour, because I'd done some pretty bad behaviours, as you can imagine people do, you know. But it was more just, as I say, I just became sick of it, you know, like, I've had enough now, you know, and the last weekend I drank, you know, I literally just was at my mate's house all weekend, just drinking, doing nothing, you know, just drinking because I couldn't stop. And I just got home, looked at myself in the mirror and was like, I can't do this no more, you know. And I went back to the place that had been helping me, you know. And if anyone obviously wants to know that on a personal level, I'll put out my social media at the end of this interview. And you can hit me up, you know, and I can let you know. But
absolutely,
obviously, over the year, there's a certain belief that I have, you know, which I'm going to stick to. But yeah,
because people choose to remain anonymous over certain things, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's okay. But I think we're giving enough away to the right people, right? But there was a real message in that, so I just want to dig a little deeper into that message. When you went to get that help. Took you a few months of going back. Doesn't always happen like that.
No.
But you surrounded yourself with the right people. And then you went through the right process. What was it? I want to know, what was that breakthrough kind of moment where you was like, oh my God, I've not had a drink this weekend. And then it was like, oh my God, I've not had a drink this weekend either. And it's like...
Do you know what it was? The day that I just told you about, that Sunday when I looked in the mirror, I phoned a few people, and one guy answered, and it was the one guy who I didn't want to answer, because he's known me since a kid. He knew my dad, you know.
Right.
I would have rather anyone answered than him, but he was the right person to answer. And he came and met me, or I went and met him, and he absolutely tore me a new one. Sat in his car, he told me about myself in a way that no one ever had before. I can't repeat the words on here because we're not allowed to swear.
No.
But he spoke to me in a way that probably isn't the right way to speak to everyone, but the right way to speak to me at that moment. And I heard him. I heard every word that he said. And I knew exactly that if I wanted to get well and I wanted to sort myself out, I needed to listen to this man and do exactly what he says. And I did. From that day on, I did. Yeah. You know, I did everything he said every single day, you know. I mean, I'm not saying he was on the phone to me every day. He wasn't. But he told me what I needed to do, and I went and done it, you know. And obviously I went through the process that I went through the recovery process, you know. I don't mind mentioning that, obviously, the 12-step process and program. Took me about 2 years to get through that, you know. But none of it was put off, none of it was stalled. That's just how long it took to get through the stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it was it wasn't until I was halfway through I started seeing change. It wasn't until I think
it says in the promises,
and it does say
you will be amazed before you're halfway through, right?
And this is the thing, when I read it back now, I can see it happened exactly the way it says it was going to happen.
Crazy.
You know, but at the time, you know, a lot of stuff to work through, a lot of pain to work through, a lot of guilt with stuff that I'm not going to lie, for a lot of my life I didn't feel guilt, you know, but when I eventually felt it, boy, did I feel it, you know. And you know, obviously going through that process gave me a connection and a faith with God, you know, which was the solution really to my problems. And since I realised that is what I needed, I've worked on that every day, to the point where now, and I went round the houses with it. I went to all sorts of groups and churches and stuff to try and find this connection. And now it's the most simple thing it can possibly be, but I know it's real. Do you know what I mean? And not that none of that's good either. Nothing bad came from me doing all that,
bro.
You know. And I'm someone, I like to complicate things. You know what I mean? I like to make things hard for myself. But that's how I learn, you know. And I did. And you know, today, you know, I believe I'm guided by God. I ask him for direction every day. I was literally saying this in here 2 weeks ago on the other show that I was on, you know, because I don't shy away from that stuff. That's the truth of it. Yeah. Because if I wake up in the morning and I don't ask him for help with what I'm meant to do today, I will not do the right thing.
Come on.
I will not say the right thing. I will not have the right attitude. You know, I'll be short with people. I wake up in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Like I'm not I'm by no means a perfect person, but I know what I have to do to work on it and get better.
Yeah.
And I still mess up now sometimes, you know, I still make mistakes, not in the same way, not at the same level, you know. But there's always more to learn. If you don't have to, you either keep growing or you go or you're dying, aren't you? There's no staying in one place. You don't maintain. You keep growing or you're dying, you know. And I want to keep growing. I know what I need to do to keep growing, you know. So I just keep doing it, you know. And that's a message I try and put across in my music, in a way where it can be enjoyed as well, you know. And it's
absolutely
not too in your face. Because I can be in your face, but I've learned that don't work either. You don't need to do that. You just need to be an example.
Yeah,
in your own way. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, mate. I'm just
100%.
I mean, my little bucket hat. If you watch this back, I'm just like this because I'm just totally I'm loving your story. It just mirrors mine so much. You know,
Same, man.
that going round to loads of different churches and stuff. I remember when you know, I was like, right, it was Easter Sunday. I was like, right, and I had this hole in my heart, right. I was only a couple of years in, did the 12 steps, still had this hole. I'm like, where's God? Where is he? So I go around to some churches, and well, I went round to.
I think I know what's coming now.
Yeah, I went round to one church. Have I told you about this one? Oh, this is a biggie.
No, but you know what I'm talking about.
I ain't got a clue.
About 2 years ago was an event that happened at a church, didn't it?
Oh no, this is so. I've been in recovery for like 12 years, right? And not all of that time's been clean. So this is my first period of recovery.
Right, okay.
Anyway, long story short, I go to one church, and when I step in, the guy is calling all different faiths out, saying, you know, Buddha was lazy, and you know, Muhammad was this and that, and I thought, this ain't the message that I want to be hearing, right? And so I left that church and then went to another church down the road. It was Our Lady's Church, in fact, in Edgerley. It was the church that I went to as a kid. I thought, well, you know, I'll go there quickly. And everybody was leaving the church, and the priest was leaving as well, and I said, excuse me, mate, and I recognised him from when I was a kid. It was the same priest. I said, Father, whatever his name was, do you remember me? I said, have you got 5 minutes? And just kind of like, you know, I'm looking for God, and I want to, and he said, no, I haven't. And he just walked off, and I was like, oh, God. And then I looked through the church, and there was this old man still sat down. Everybody else was left. And I recognised him. And it was actually a guy that abused me when I was a kid. Right? And I was like, and he just looked old and and there was no hate there. There was no, I used to throw stones at this guy, you know, all throughout being a kid. We all used to call him names and all this sort of stuff. And I saw him sat there, and he was like a friend of the family, and I went over to him and said, how are you doing? He said, I don't reckon. He did. He said, I don't recognise you. I said, you do? He said, it's Ben, one of the twins. Oh, Ben, how are you? I said, I'm okay. I said, how are you? I said, I hope you're okay. And I shook his hand. And I got off, and I remember walking away from this church, getting really upset because I didn't find God. And then it hit me like a bleeding lightning bolt that, Ben, you just found him within that forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to go to a church or listen to a priest or listen to something. So that's thanks for reminding me that.
Mate, you just give me goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff.
Powerful.
Powerful stuff.
It's in them moments, isn't it?
It's in them moments.
Yeah, you don't even have to go searching, really.
No.
You just need to be open.
What was he was talking about on the phone? The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. Have you read The Alchemist?
I need to read it. I've seen it about for the last 12 years, right?
The plot at the end.
I've got to read
I'm gonna
it.
buy it us.
Oh.
Hold me to that, because I'm gonna read it again. And it was when I was listening to his track that I heard it, and then I said, "You read The Alchemist?" He went, "Yeah, man." I went, "Oh, mate, I read it in Egypt as well, so I had that was part of my awakening." That.
Wow. So anyone who's listening, if you've read it, you'll know why that connects with that story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to read it now. Let's play another track, my
Track
bro.
2, man. Come on. Which one?
And thank you for being so detailed in your story, which allowed me to kind of
get
onto that, because it was just...
how it works, innit, man?
Yeah, it's how it works. It's how it works, right, guys?
Keep sharing it out, guys.
I think we should play 7:15 now. So this track was from
Jeez.
2019. But yeah, everything I've just spoke about relates to this track.
Let's have a listen. And once again, if you want the album, just type RJ.
It's big out.
(7:15) on a Tuesday night. I ain't getting loose tonight, I'm following my newest vibe, true as life. I'll be in a room sipping a brew, it's nice. My crew and I are moving like Jerusalem. We ain't choosing sides, you can fight, do or die. Gruesome life for you, that guy. But you let my dude decide. God is who I choose to guide. So now I know my driver of my journey like an Uber ride. I pick my tools and utilize. I'm looking to improve my life, slowed it up. Cause I was moving fast, but then I slowed it down. I learned this life we live, it ain't a rush, you gotta hold it out. Live fast, die young, I'm looking to be older, but and I ain't paying rent to keep my place, so I wanna own it now. Next year, long hair, by then I would've grown it up. I used to love my hair when it was faded, like I'm zoning out. Things change, grim days is something that I know about. See me, I've been to hell and back, and then I lapsed, I'm sober now. I live my life at 12 steps, no longer in hell's debt. Colder now, no people pleasing, evil seeking souls about. I show them out, and feeble geezers seem to be evolving now, but I just keep my team with me and keep believing. So I'm sound, my family and my friends, they keep it real and say they're over proud. Fam, even my exes see the building, cause they know I'm out. You see the life I used to live, scheming like a fugitive. I pre the guy I used to dig and see the light to move within. So now I'm out the shadows, open up doors and let the king in. Don't overlook flaws and then be sinking. I'm soaking up all there is for living. Coconut water's what I'm drinking, and I know I must always be forgiving. Always be forgiving, but never forget. Always be willing for a second attempt. Always be giving to the lesser in debt, but always be vigilant for the devil in them. Yeah. So now I live by commandments in it. Ask me where I've been, well I've been climbing mountains on some niche. Trying to spread my wings like a falcon, cause I've been round the houses and within my surroundings. All I see is negativity, and dim minds are clouded by the star dog, the rolling, or the hard rock, the smoking. One's deeper than the other, but the charge that the holding is a large one to go with. Cats in the jungle wanna kill man like if she a Khan got to Mowgli, but it's alright. Cause now I'm coming with a fire. The power that I'm fucking with is higher. I was stuck in my desires, driven by materialism. You see my fear as it isn't, but now I'm hearing a listen. I said it's alright, cause now I'm coming with a fire. The power that I'm fucking with is higher. I was stuck in my desires, driven by materialism. You see my fear as it isn't, but now I'm hearing a listen.
Just let that one sink in, right? Deep. It's deep, bro. Whew. Welcome to the DryWave Super Tsunami. I think we've flooded Facebook with recovery goodness and with wellness, and just want to bring RJ straight back in on that, mate. Bam, bam, bam. What a crazy deep track, bro.
Yeah, man.
God. Yeah, you're such a wordsmith, you know, and it's you paint such a picture, man. You know, I think I've loved rap for you know, it's just since being a kid. I think since, you know, listening to pirate radio when I was like 11. I had a little orange radio which I used to kind of roll this dial, yeah, and like get these kind of MCs and rappers. I was like, whoa, what's all this? But that's phenomenal, so I really respect you for that, mate.
That was telling the story, that.
Jeez, Crazy.
Yeah, I really heard a lot of your story in that when I listened to it early today. I only got onto that track when you messaged me and said, let me change a few tracks. So, let me see this track now, because I've been watching your music now for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I heard a lot of your story in there.
Yeah, because I was gonna play Gym Talk, which is another new one, but I thought, nah.
I want to get
this
big
one,
like
you know
you,
what I
bro.
mean? Yeah, but I thought that one is right for this show, you know.
I'm glad you brought that in.
Yeah, man.
Really
Yeah,
glad you brought that in.
Yeah, it's a big track.
Who produced it?
JSD produced that.
Did he build that track?
Yeah, that track was created on my 28th birthday. I'd been back doing music.
We need to get him in here.
Do you know
man.
what? That we made, that was the third track we made together.
JSD.
That was the third track we made together in 2015. No, not 2015. 2017.
It's crazy because it sounds.
So he produced yours and Rio's
Album, yeah.
right?
But Jay's been my producer since I came back to making music.
Right. Wow.
In 2017. And that was the third track we made together, but it didn't come out until 2019.
Wow. Is he still underneath Kydro? Was it? Yeah.
He's not underneath him. He's above him, I think.
Is he above Kydro?
Yeah. He's in the same building.
Same building, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just blew me away. Tell us about it, mate.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wrote that track probably 2015, 2016-ish, when I'd got sober and was beginning to turn my life around, you know. And as I say, you know, it didn't end up getting, you know, I had to stop making music. Well, I stopped making music because of the partying and all that, and then I just couldn't come back to it. You know, every time I was writing stuff, I was sort of writing like the old me, and as I say, it was just sucking me back into it. And then I ended up meeting Jay at a friend's birthday meal. I didn't know, I knew who Jay was, but I didn't know Jay. And me and him are sat at the end of the table, about 12 people. And me and him are sat at the end, like, you know, it was meant to be, do you know what I mean? And obviously we're talking as you do, because it'd be a bit weird if we didn't.
Yeah.
One of my mates, D Jordan, who's also on medication.
Yeah, D Jordan, man.
Yeah. He shout, oh, you know,
Big
you know, Dean. He shouts over to Jay, or Rob can rap. Obviously my real name's Rob. Jay was like, I've got a studio if you want to get in. And obviously it was a talk of, oh, I might do whatever.
Yeah.
And then that summer I hit him up, and we made a track called Growing Pains. Which we're not going to play tonight, but we made that track. That was the first track we made. Then we made Padwork, which is a grimy one, and then we made that one. But obviously, I'd had them lyrics written for a long time. Do you know what I mean? I knew, I got in the booth. I didn't have to read. As we were saying, I knew him. I just knew him. Do you know what I mean? And that's why the performance on that track, you can hear it, man. You can hear that where it's come from. And yeah, we didn't put it out for a long time because obviously we were just sort of stacking and building music, and then in 2019, we made it on my 28th birthday. We put it out on my 30th. It felt right. And the visual to that one is just me sat at my mum's dining room table at home, and it's just, again, a still shot, and it just zooms in on me over time. The lyrics are on the screen, you know. Really, I suppose that's where sort of Homegrown started, because that's a homegrown track. The video was homegrown. That's when I started using the word homegrown a lot. I've always sort of used it about my music anyway, because I just believe my music is homegrown. It's
absolutely
around there, you know.
Yeah.
But that track, definitely, I remember people saying that about that video, and I was like, yeah, man, it's homegrown. Do you know what I mean? My mum's house, dining room table. And yeah, man, like, obviously, I've not listened to it. I've not listened to it for a while, you know. Listening to it, then bought it back a bit, man.
So that was written with a pen and a pad, dining room table.
No, that was written on my phone.
Oh, was it?
Back on the phone.
Yeah, it's written on my phone. There. We're going into 2016. It's all on phones.
It's all on
phones.
phones. You know what I mean?
It's all on
do
phones.
you think it's taken like the art out of it writing on phones?
I think it's taken the art of delivery and practicing your craft out of it. Yeah, I don't think it's taken the art of writing, because what I will say is I did a lot of journaling last year, and actually putting pen to paper is madness.
Yeah,
it's so different.
It's magic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And and I got into some stuff in that. I did it as part of, because as I say, I was training to be a counsellor. I did it as part of a project I had to do for that, but I uncovered some stuff. So if you've not done anything like that, and you do a lot of, even if you're doing inventory and that, and you're using your phone, put pen to paper, man. But in terms of writing lyrics, I don't know if it's taken away from the art form in terms of writing, but I think it prevents people from learning the lyrics properly. I've seen people at video shoots and they don't know how do you not know the lyrics when you're doing a video shoot?
Yep.
You know,
You've got to know the lyrics.
I'm from the era where if I write, I can know it. If I'm on job, I can know it in an hour.
Yeah,
I can know it off by heart in an hour.
And I think there's something really, there's something really creative about putting your pen to paper as well,
Definitely.
rather than typing it in your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's part of the creative outlet in it that's been running since when pens and paper began back in whenever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that when we transitioned from pen and paper over to phone, something happened to my writing style. Kind of went back to that kind of nursery rhyme kind of stuff, you know. And it was like because you know, as you write and your whole body's in it, you can see what's coming out on the paper. You know, the way that you press the pen and put the words down and stuff, and you see it all happening, and you see it all shaping. You're not just.
It's like doing your art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drawing.
It is,
You know, it's.
So you're taking like an element out of it. So I don't know. There's something in that anyway, isn't there?
Towards the end of last year, I started writing a blog for a little bit because I like writing. You know what I mean? And obviously, rap is just one form of that. It's one form of writing. And one of the articles was called "Picking Up the Pen," and it was about that the journaling experience that I had.
Yeah.
And now actually putting the pen to paper, you just your hand just starts going free.
Yeah.
And you're not even thinking. Your hand's just moving. And if you do it for about an hour, you'll get some. You'll see some stuff, man.
And you'll know about it because your wrist will be like, you know,
start getting blisters.
You'll have blisters there. Do you know what? I might write an EP all by pen. You know,
man.
just as an experiment. I mean, I think that'd be a good. The Arts Council would give you money for that idea. You know.
Yeah.
Serious. Yeah.
I found
Could be
with
something to do.
writing, I got into writing obviously probably this last year, and you know, one of my mates, Luke, as well, he helped me with it because I actually found it was really hard when I was writing posts and trying to tell part of my story and that. I wanted it to sound clear and clean and stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot harder than I thought. So I'd write a full A4 page, and then I'd chop it down a bit, and then I'd send it him and say, keep chopping it down, and then I'd send it to him again and he'd say, keep chopping it down. And then he'd say. And then till I got just to the gold of what I just wanted to say, and I was like, God, this is a journey. It's not just given. You've got to. You might be gifted with it, but you've got to go on a journey to unlock it. You know what I mean?
Bro, you know what? Yeah, you're so right. So just mentioning the Arts Council then. So I apply for lots of different funding bids for projects and stuff, and a lot of the projects you apply for, they give you loads of space to just write what you want. But the Arts Council, they're notoriously difficult because they want just a goal. They give you like 300 characters. I mean, sometimes you think 300 words isn't a lot, but they give you 300 characters. So I've had to work with an organisation called Grantium to pay them a lot of money to help me condense that. You know, stop chatting.
What is this on the funding bids
on
now?
The funding bids.
That's an art form in itself.
It's an art form,
being able
mate.
to write in that way.
But I do enjoy writing.
Yeah.
It allows you to really process yourself and come out with clear. Because sometimes I write something and then I'll come back the next day and I go, what in God's name am I trying to say there? It's like that. It's just shit.
Garbage.
Garbage, yeah.
But I think in the counselling stuff, like what you've learned, I've known from a lot of the coaching, they really get you to explore that, don't they?
Yeah. As I say, there was a whole research project on. You could do it on anything you wanted, but we were sort of advised and sort of guided to do it on ourselves. You know, do heuristic research on yourself through journaling. I'm really grateful I took that advice. You know, because as I say, I found some stuff out about myself. You know, some stuff because I'd done a lot of work on myself. You know, so it wasn't about all the mad stuff from 5-6 years ago.
Right. Okay.
It was about now. You know what's going on now, and it was a lot about being committed. You know, in a relationship and in life, and struggling with that, the idea of commitment. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily the physical commitment, but the idea of commitment in my head. Do you know what I mean? It was something that was it was hard for me to accept. You know, and that journaling process, it was like a 180, and I was able to accept it, and from there it was my whole life, and especially my relationship, just blossomed really from that moment on.
Wow. I love that route you're going down. I'm just gonna absolutely pull that apart now. That's crazy. It's like not actually, but what you said was not actually being committed, but being committed in your head, because the idea of it, because we create ideas, right? The mind, it's got this area that creates loads of ideas, thoughts, feelings, fears about the future that doesn't exist. And then it brings up the past and all the ideas, the thoughts, the feelings, and the fears that don't exist. And it puts them all into the present.
The stories.
And it's just, you can't, obviously you can't deal with none of it because none of it exists.
Yeah.
So you're not able, it's not like you know, you've, I don't know, you've broke a toy car and you just need to put the wheel back on because you can physically do that, right?
Yeah.
This is just all ideas in your head. Nobody can, you can't do nothing with them because they don't exist. But then they just absolutely destroy the present, right? Is that what you felt was happening with that idea of like commitment and actually was you thinking, well, how am I supposed to stay with the missus for 10 years? Like,
it wasn't a thought of how am I supposed to. It was just the sort of letting go of that this is happening. This is the situation I'm in, which is an amazing situation. It's a situation I've wanted my whole life, which I've never had. But when I was getting it, I couldn't process it properly. I couldn't accept it. You know, I couldn't feel it. And the big thing that came from it was addiction is a mad commitment to something. All right, you're not in control of it, but addiction is commitment. Yeah, I'm an addict by nature in anything. Do you know what I mean? In anything. Yeah. But then I couldn't commit to something that's so pure and good. Do you know what I mean? Or I couldn't accept and commit to it. But as I say, that revelation just made my relationship go just to what it is now, which is an amazing relationship, something I've always wanted. You know.
Did you unravel that at the time and get the insight to what was stopping you from committing? Because I've had things that have stopped me from committing. You know, along the way.
It was fear.
Fear.
Yeah. It was just fear. Yeah. Not even. I can't even explain fear of what. It was just fear. You know what I mean? It was just fear something, and you know, fear's something that we all have.
Something pure as well, though. Fearing something that is
feeling like you're not worthy of it as well.
Yeah,
you're not worthy of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it's down them
like
roots,
you don't
innit?
deserve it.
Yeah, that's it.
But you do.
Well, how can someone stay with me for X amount of years? Like, it's not going to happen. It's like they're going to end up leaving me at some point, or it's going to go west, or I'm going to leave them, or
there's a big thing with this.
There's all that fear, isn't there? Just you know, you can, even when you truly ask yourself that question, I feel anybody, you can just pull out the scenarios in your head like that. You know, it's crazy, man.
And commitment's a big thing. I mean, we talked a little bit earlier, and I was talking to Ben about, you know, what I've observed is addicts that have, or people who have really addictive personalities, that might not even ideas an addict. When I've seen them turn the corner and they commit to something else,
it's only just speaking.
It's like a superpower. Yeah. It's like, whoa, when, you know, I see how far you've come as you've sorted your life out and how dedicated and driven you are. You know, it's massive, and it's great when you see that transition. And I almost think if all these addicts turned it round and put it towards something creative and great.
But you as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got this, you know, like Will's done the 12 steps without even knowing that he was doing the 12 steps, right? You know, and kind of clearing up your space, going through that step 4 and 5, looking at
men's and stuff.
And then 7, you know, 8 and 9, looking at the men's and all this sort of cool stuff. And as Will's been speaking to me, although you suffered with depression, you know, which is, you know, what I believe, you know, depression, anxiety, any sort of mental health is addiction to thought. In fact, I believe that thought is the most addictive substance known to man, and it's the first substance that we ever become addicted to is thought. You know.
Yeah, 100%. That's what led to
that's
my
what leads
thing.
to it, because we start to believe this false evidence. You know, the false evidence appears real. That's like the the fear, isn't it? False evidence appearing real. We start to believe this narrative in our head because it sounds like us. You know, we believe it is us, you know. Although you think of a Scouser, you can start talking like a Scouser in your head straight away, you know. Think of Sean Connery and start talking like Sean Connery. It'll sound like Sean Connery. You know, it's like, so it's a funny one. Thought's a funny one. It really is, yeah.
I've never heard it put like that before, but it makes sense.
It's deep.
Spot on, man.
And it's the overthinking as well, and the thoughts thing. Like, you almost become locked if you've had issues around addiction or you fall into mental health things.
Yep.
The overthinking leads to the anxiety.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, people call it mental health, you know, but again, yeah, it's like the word. I mean, you're a wordsmith, right?
Yeah.
The words that we use are so, they kind of take you away from what the problem actually is. And it's like, it's not mental health, it's the voice in your head. Let's have it right. It's not mental health, it's the voice that's in your head.
Yeah, it's just another label, isn't it, really?
It's another
the only way we can.
So in the last kind of 3 weeks, I just wanted to go out and get absolutely smashed. It became a really good idea, yeah. It's like this idea again, you know, this kind of thought of the future, right, which doesn't exist. That became super real to me, right? And it was only when Will texted me and he says,
last Wednesday, wasn't it?
Last Wednesday, he says, what story are you telling yourself which is a lie? Now, I've been going through a real difficult process because I'm telling you, I was about to go out, mate. I was getting on it.
Yeah, it's been edging towards you,
It was edging towards me, son. I'm on my knees, like, please, to say, and it wasn't. And then Will kind of broke that by asking me, what story have you been telling yourself which is a lie? And I was like, oh, God, it's that. And cried about it.
Just came over me as well. I'm on a course every Wednesday with Landmark Forum. It's amazing for anyone who's not done it. But on that last session on Wednesday, it's every Wednesday for 10 weeks, and they were hammering us on the stories we create, which are all these assumptions, the false identities, the everything that we create and then we believe are real, and they're running us, and we can't always see them. And I was just in it, and I was looking at my stories, and you're not even really met a message while you're on this Zoom thing, but I thought, I just feel like I got a message. Ben was like, yo, what stories you been making up, bro? And he was like, right and then you right time. Then he straight away came back and said, I've been running a story that using drugs is going to be cool again. And I was like, whoa, I just knew. I went, whoa, that's a big one. And then you said you just had a meltdown.
It was meltdown, though. It broke me because I've been telling myself this cool story, right?
Yeah, it's so devious, man, innit?
Super devious.
That Loki, just there.
Loki,
you have to pull him out and bring him to the surface.
The storyteller.
You know, when you said about the overthinking, though, the notepad I bought for myself to journaling says, hang on, let me overthink this. It says on it.
It's the next track, overthinking.
I'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Should we get the next track on?
Should we play another track?
Yeah.
Doing well here, man. We're perfect timing tonight. This is in flow here.
I think we'll play.
Which one are we going
Northern
for?
Soul now. So this is the track that came out just before the album. It sort of sets the scene for what's to come on the album. It's just a little trip down memory lane from some of the stuff we spoke about at the beginning of the show.
Yep. Let's get it on. Northern Soul. Woo! These are loving the tracks there, these guys.
Yo, big it up Sly on this one. He inspired this one still. Little trip down memory lane. Matt James on a beat. Yo, I'm a Northern Soul. Attitude's warm and cold, don't talk, I show. Couple times got orcs with bro, so no, I don't call them bro, but I got my dons that I do it for, and most of them come support at shows. Raised on avenues, walks and grows, and trust on different forms of role. But I come from money, always lived in Sale, but I was in a whip from teens. 15, 16, we was just kids on street, linking bits for a beat, getting pissed on a cheap. Alan's had chicken to eat, but more time we had to teeth. Couple days got deep, round here still I beef. Couple times got kicked in the teeth. teeth, it was all real new back then, cause I came from ball. Sportsman spraying up course, but I started chilling on roll. Still never got blazed, but raw caught up in the ways of sorts. I like gal one way and caught couple nice things back then. Brain was raw, I'll give it out quick, in and out dip. 17, I was engaged in more activity. I love to smack rhythm G, cracked on and supported a Carla. Chilling with a few money top dogs, they won't say it, but I got them on a tour and a barred up. I've been getting blocked since then, now I ain't bothered, trust. But back then it hurt though, I helped man out, never got an out back, so I lost love and I slapped on a work phone. Spent a few years in pool, them times it was weird to be cool, cause I went there for uni and the road didn't fit in. Had a head full of fear of the truth, that really I was like them here. Normal kids, but lost in an awful mix. Made some pee, got weed and all that the clip means sweet, got sort of big, yo, and then I met K. These times I was in sailing shore, but I still played ball, so I went range and I went college in Hume. I get an OT and that's all, but I went to the hood. K helped me level up, until then I was just a little scruff. Got a few garms, got a few bottles in clubs, and I got a new whip for a buzz. Them times in Waynes, Claremont Road, Steve was doing jerk chicken in the backyard. Those were the days I was on lows, ask anyone from then. I was on smash, 2 trims a week. I was in peak, but I ate Nando's and I got fat. Drank bare brandy and I got mad. Went back to the gym, that's when I met Ash. Then I started Thai, now I'm in Beswick. These times put North Manny on the map, cause I never really went there, but I was coaching a lot. Shout Amber, we give man a chance. I was in Moston, I was in Gorton, I was in Droylsden, I was in Hyde. At 22, knew Manny at the back of my hand, say a place in there, a drive. But I'm from South, you can ask Roll me. Back when the yardies called me Black Rob, I didn't really like that, but I got a shout at them cause they showed love to me on that block. Then I went raving, got into the house scene, yo, that's when I met Pipes and Subs. We was in Leicester, Leeds, and a trip down south, me and Sweet in all of the clubs, yo, that's my boy. Shout out Titch, Bok, Cannon and Gun, that's fam. Shout out B, things ain't hot right now, but I still got love for your man, yo, I got a shout Mal. Taught me more than I know and treating me like a little bro. Bigging up KP, bigging up J, a Mass and Jock, keep living it grown, yo, bigging up Smoke. Too many tales and now you a boss, so I keep it hush, yo, I got a shot D, got a shot D. Without you, man won't be doing his stuff. Bigging up Mike or Ricky T, Miller, Spender, you man, I still fam. And can't forget Daz and Gilly, your bro. And our last one, shout J Killy on the cam.
Yo, they got Rye, here's Elwood.
Yo, little bit of swearing at the end there, but welcome back to the DryWave Super Tsunami as we flood Facebook with recovery goodness, wet it with wellness and wash well-being across the social media matrix with an added mix of tales from the crypt. We're just doing a deep dive into what drives the addict mind. So a shout out to a few of the girls and the guys. Wayne Warhurst, thank you for all the love. We see the love coming through. Hannah Francois, is it Francois? Francis? I don't know. Jessica Porter says fire. Loads of love coming through for RJ right now. Yes, Catherine Carroll, Cece, Hotai, Lorraine Lawless, absolutely flawless, lawless. And the rest of the gang. Yo, Joe Holmes, he tells himself that story daily. It's a lie. Gemma Richards is saying woo, I don't know who to. And then we've got we love the DryWave twosome, says Chris Rowlands, the dirty ghetto. Gecko, no Gecko, it's a dirty gecko he calls himself. That's what he calls himself, man. Chris Rowlands plays like computer games and gets paid for it and stuff. Cool guy, man. And yes, there was somebody else. Oh yeah, Chris Rowlands again. He said I needed to get this up because it's well funny. He says he's committed in his head and he's also a ninja. There you go, man. Aren't we all cheeky little ninjas, right? What a track, bro. Again, man, it's just pure fire on this album, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, that's not even on the album.
No, that's
again.
not on there again.
That was the one before it. That's the track before.
How
the
many
album.
tracks have you got?
A lot.
Flipping
So
heck.
there was 3 tracks leading up, weren't there?
Yeah, and the next 2 we've got left to play on the show of off the album.
Off the album, yeah.
Teasers, yeah. So you've been
I hope everyone's getting this album down. Well, they've not got the link yet. You're putting the link up later, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just keep tapping RJ.
I
think Chris Rowlands has been
Yeah, I
to
think-
it and ruined my little cheeky promotion scheme.
He's doing the
But
PA thing,
anyway,
isn't he?
Anyway, thanks, Rick.
Yeah,
Thanks, Chris.
he threw
Come on.
the proper link in there.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Chris is throwing your link in there, which is cool. What I was doing, RJ, was asking people to, the more comments, the algorithms go through the roof and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, doesn't always work out, does it?
This album's gonna blow up, man. I've
Yeah, it's
already
gonna
seen it. I think each track. I mean, I only glanced, but I'm sure I've got over 1,000 listens or something like that, if not more, on Spotify straight away. You've only been out a couple of days.
Well, the tracks haven't, but the album. I think I'm at about 3,000 streams.
Yeah.
For the album
That's
so
nice.
far, but And obviously, I'm not someone yet. I'm not at the stage in my career yet where I do massive numbers.
Yeah.
But they're growing. They've been growing since January.
Yeah.
But I mean, iTunes wise, in terms of purchases, it was amazing what the album did. You know, it got to number 2 on the hip hop rap charts. One under Central C, who dropped on the same day, who obviously he's the face of every platform at the moment. So I can't moan about that. And it actually got to number 32. It peaked at number 32 on the All Genres one.
Wow.
Near like Fleetwood Mac and Quit. It's just, you know, just to see my name.
That's nice,
just to see my name near them people and I thought it would only be for a day. And we're 5 days in now.
Wow.
And I think it lasted 4 days in the All Genres chart, but I think it was only 1 day in the top 40.
Yeah.
And then it was like 80-ish. And yeah, it stayed in the top 5 until today. I think last time I checked a couple of hours ago, it was 6th. And not that it's about that, but that's nice as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I
I
mean?
think
Like, it's nice.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's nice to know that your thing's done all right, man.
Yeah.
And obviously, just humbled by the people who bought it, because it's sales that got it to that.
It'd be a bit dead if you like put like 12, like 2, like year. I don't know what you put years. It'd be a bit dead if you put 2 years into something and not one person listens to it. I'd be good.
Yeah,
so it is nice, you know.
Is,
a lot. We don't do things for the likes, you know. Can you imagine sitting there? Right, mind you, I used to write bars for the likes.
Yeah.
Because they're all dead bars. You know, like.
Do you know what it is? It's a catch-22 in it. I make music because I love music, and I came back to music because I missed it. It was the one thing in my life after I sorted myself out that was missing. You know?
Yeah.
But the same way, you know, I would love to make a career out of this. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
And to make a career out of it, you have to be doing the numbers. You have to be selling records. You know, I believe I'm good enough to do it. I've just got to keep working hard enough. You know, so it is. I don't do it for the likes, but you know, it's nice when you start getting them as well.
Yeah,
100%.
Have you? We need to link everybody up with. So you're on Instagram, Facebook.
Mainly, yeah.
Is it Insta mainly?
I'm on Insta mainly, but I've got a Facebook as well. I've got a Facebook page as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to really.
Your Instagram's been grabbing quite a bit of traction as well now. I've clocked.
Instagram's growing. As I say, Spotify. The Spotify profile's growing. Obviously, depending on what you listen to music on, but I like Spotify because you can find it all in one place. You can follow me, and then you've got my profile there, and you've got everything. You know, I'm not sure it's the same with. I don't use the other platforms, so I'm not sure it's the same with the other platforms. It might be. But yeah, you know, the link that you're gonna post of my album is what you call a song link, where it takes you to all the platforms, and then you just choose which one.
Which platform.
Choose which one you want to listen to it on.
They're nice little links, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, what do you get most listens on?
Spotify.
Really?
Yeah. Spotify. To be fair, I mean, I'm in the studio tomorrow, so I'm gonna because obviously I'm part of JSD's medication label, so he puts my stuff out through that. So on his system, he'll have all the numbers there. So I'm gonna have a look tomorrow to see what the album. I mean, it would have done best on iTunes because of the sales, and iTunes takes up more anyway. Like if you get one sale on iTunes, it counts for however many streams. Do you know what I mean? It counts for a lot more than.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, of course.
But my main fan base is on Spotify at the moment. I think. Yeah.
That's great.
The iTunes thing's big, man. It's good if people can support and you know, get your album and stuff on there. Yeah. But Spotify has become a big thing on it now.
I think Spotify is the leading streaming service. Yeah. Even in terms of like official chart positions. Yeah. I think streams from Spotify count for most of those. But iTunes sales will always sort of reign king over any streaming because it is a sale. It's a physical sale. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they must put it down for an average of, like, if somebody buys a physical album, they must go, okay, that this is going to have an average of 750 listens at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe something like that. Maybe I don't know.
It is
I'm
something
just
like that.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know the finer details, but yeah, it is something like that. And a bought album counts for more than a stream.
It's definitely more than one.
Yeah.
But listen, people are throwing your link up.
Yeah,
here,
I mean,
mate.
flipping. These guys are searching the net.
I mean, we don't even pay him.
You know, we're not even got Chris going now. Chris has got the iTunes link up. Go on, Chris. Go on, Chris.
Get it bought, man. Get me back in
there. Come on, guys.
Get it bought, guys. Listen, get it back in them. Get it back in it. $4.99.
I'm not shy, man. I want it.
That's worth it, mate. Listen, a deep sea diver Get your hand in your pocket.
Come on.
Let's just give this one last share. We've got another half an hour to go. I know it's late, gang, and I wouldn't ask you if I didn't like you.
Let's get it shared out again, guys.
Let's get another couple of shares going. $4.99 for the full album. It's too cheap. Way too cheap.
I looked at
Just
what
a start,
I looked at what the high profile artists were charging for digital releases, and most of them are charging that. They charge about a tenner for a
right. Is that about
copy.
right?
Right.
Yeah. So I went off that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to be buying it.
Yeah. I
Nice
think we
one,
should
man.
buy
Yeah.
it.
We'll definitely 100%, mate.
Definitely.
Thank you, man.
100%,
Thank
yeah.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And tell me about. I've got in my head now part life and stuff. So your music's took you some places already.
Yeah. You know what? As well, I performed at Park Life today. I was 4 years sober.
That's sick.
Wow.
And I had to stay away from Park Life for those years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, just because it didn't feel right to go.
What tracks did you perform at Park Life?
I performed a load of grime ones.
Did you?
So none that we're playing today. Or Air Max, your Manchester Ground, the ones you read out in the bio at the beginning, you know. And I made one, like I made a house type one just for Park Life, which it's not come out yet. It probably will come out. Obviously, the pandemic hit. If I'm going to release a track like that, it's going to be summertime. And obviously, the last summer got ruined in it.
Which Park Life did you play?
2019.
29.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So that was the
sick.
last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last one. Yeah. So basically, there's a lady called Kim who is one of the managers at Park Life and Warehouse Projects.
Yeah.
And she found my music and liked it, and you know, we had a little chat, and she said, I think I can get you on. So it was all her doing, not none of my doing.
Cheeky.
And
Nice.
yeah, like, you know, massive respect to her for that, because she's just a kind-hearted person who wanted to help me out, you know. And hopefully I get to go back there when
well, you've got gold, bro.
Again,
do you know what I mean? So gold shines above the rest, doesn't it? You know, that's what it does. It shines. You know, it captures light and it sends it back out. You know, so that's.
What was the energy like in there?
It was, so I was in the VIP bit. So to be honest, I was expecting nothing. Do you know what I mean? I was expecting hardly anyone to be there. And it wasn't a huge crowd, but there was people, and they loved it. Like that's all that mattered. Like it couldn't. My friends who were there that day with me just said it couldn't have gone any better. Like I was in the VIP bit, which was mainly house music. And literally, I just grabbed the mic and I just said, look, I know yous are all probably house ravers. I'm going to do something a bit different for 20 minutes. You know, I'd appreciate if you listen. They all gathered round and it went off. It was good.
It's mad because I've not been to loads of grime stuff. I got into jungle when I first got into it, which is what you mentioned before. But then I started getting into grime a couple of years ago, and I went to a grime night with Bobby Hanzo and stuff. And it went absolutely off. Yeah. Like it was like a battle royale. Like everyone's in the middle in Joshua
Brooks.
Right, and then everyone's hyping, jumping, they're spitting like 8 Mile. Honestly, I was like, whoa, there's something in this. The energy that was created, it was amazing.
Crazy grime, man. Grime classes.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
Massive, man.
We've got a really cool crowd, haven't we, at DryWave?
Yeah, man.
So
didn't you have any grime on?
Well, we've been speaking to the Academy today. I've not told you because I've just not come up. So the Academy are giving us the okay to use Academy 3.
Nice.
So Academy 3 up until next year when we take over the whole Academy. So why don't you come and do
definitely
a couple of cheeky tracks for us?
That was one of my first shows ever, man.
Yeah,
so that sort of feels nice.
Okay,
to be there, man.
Yes.
Let's get you back. Let's give you a nice time. It's going to be a sellout event. There'll be 450 people from the same walks of life that we come from. It's a drink and drug free event.
And they all love it, mate.
And everybody loves it. Listen, if you've seen the crowd that are drinking, this lot, they don't need it.
Honestly,
it's crazy.
Natural energy, innit?
It's natural
and it doesn't
energy,
stop.
And it's a vibe, and it just doesn't stop, does it, bro?
Do you know when you're out and you're in a club where everyone's getting on it, like it moves in waves, and then people are flaking off and that. But I've been getting involved in sober events and running some other ones away from DryWave with Tribe Gaia, and flipping heck, some of the festivals I was going to as well. It just doesn't stop, and it keeps going, and there's more. Like an open-hearted kind of love there. Everyone's in it together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens when there's no substances involved.
There's like a oneness there, isn't there?
There is.
It's really different. It's really cool.
Once everyone drops into
you're
it,
there for the right reasons, aren't you?
everybody's there just to enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? You know why this came about? Because of the same story that you've been telling us through kind of your narrative, which is we feel that we should stay away from music when we first come into recovery. Don't go near music. Don't go near clubs, because we have this association with drink and drugs, right? And we're here to show people at our core, this is what DryWave is about. It's like, no, like, come and listen to some music without drinking drugs and find out that your belief around drink, drugs and music is completely wrong. Because I'll tell you what, you'll have the best night ever.
That's another story we bought into. If we go back to the stories and everything that we make up that we can only have a good time when we're on something.
Yeah,
and then
that's it.
And then when I got obviously clean or whatever at 21, and I had to start going out, it just changed. But then it was in the last 4-5 years that I actually wasn't. I can have a drink if I want one, and I'll have the odd one, but I'm not bothered. I just enjoy the alternative now, and that's what I stand for, and that's the world that I want to create. And just seeing what happens in them spaces is massive. Yeah. And it's a complete lie that I bought into that you can't have a good time without.
Yep. Jessica Porter's just said the word triggers. I hate that word, Jessica. I love everything you say. You're one of our favourite fans, but I hate the word triggers.
Trigger.
Because a trigger is something that we make up. You know, I've had to look deep on this over the last kind of 12 years, and it's them attachments that we create in our head. It's an attachment theory. We have thousands of them. You know, you don't see the world through your eyes. You see it through the mind. That's why they talk about the third eye, because the third eye creates all these different attachments, rules, regulations, and laws on how you perceive the world to be, right? And then we say, oh God, yeah, you know, I can't listen to that tune because it's going to trigger me, and then we go and use because we've listened to that tune. But it's like, it's not because you listened to that tune, it's because you told yourself that you're going to, you know. It's also a bit of a cop out and a justification, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you're on good, fit, spiritual ground, you can go anywhere with anyone.
Come on.
And you know, I always try and go to somewhere for the right reasons, and to try and bring something rather than take from it. You know, that's what I've learned to do. You know, and if you do that, generally you'll be all right. You know,
Absolutely.
And if you're feeling wobbly, you better not go.
Yeah.
But there's always a get out clause in there, because you know, I get it. Sometimes the mind, sometimes the heart, and the spirit can be in a wobbly place and just looking for triggers. You know, because a trigger is the justification for me going to use, and it's a pretty good one because everybody believes it. You see, it's the word trigger is an agreed contract between people that say, oh yeah, that's why you uses it. Oh yeah, oh, because she was triggered. And then they agree with your bullshit. And it's like, beep. Well, it's true though, isn't it? It's like, oh, so you're just giving me an excuse to go and use it. Oh, you know, he was triggered. Oh, all right, well, that explains it then.
It's like what Rob said earlier, and this is why you got to go on a journey and get past that, which is dropping a lot of these stories around stuff and dropping the thing that we are creating that creates a trigger. Like when you couldn't write because it took you back. I wouldn't say it triggered you, but it took you back to that place. You're like, I just can't write yet. I need to get past this. I can't go to part life yet because I just need to get myself strong and centered.
It made me feel like I was thinking like I used to think.
Yeah.
And that's a scary place to be. You know what I mean? And I had to get to a place where, I mean, part life was a huge moment, being there 4 years sober, you know.
It's brilliant.
But things take time, don't they? Healing takes time, you know.
100%. Let's get the second to last track on. Coming down to the last 20 minutes. Will's calling the shots on the tracks.
Let's do it, man.
Second to last one.
So this track is called Trapped. It's a track off the album. It's track 7 on the album. Just about struggling. Just listen.
Yeah, let's
talk
listen
after.
to it. Yep. Trapped RJ.
Living in my own head, managing my own stress. Right now, I feel like I'm panicking and don't rest. I'm always coming up with strategies to cope, then I'm battling with those, so I'm naturally a cold wreck. I'm out in public and I see someone I know, but then deep into my soul I get feelings that are so tense. We could be speaking on the phone and then I see them on the road and I have no guess how to approach them. Most people don't start with a high. I feel the larger the knife, cause more time I wanna dart to the side and put my head down, act like I didn't see him. So mostly I'm in my car when outside, and if it's birthdays I really wanna party and vibe, but when the day comes I'm sitting in my yard and I dive straight into my bed. I tell them what is largely a lie, like I was ill, I know apart, but I tried. It's like I've been in a zone way, lacking and I don't take happily to most days. Trapped up in my own brain, feel like I'm battling an old flame, and I'm feeling so drained. Tryna find a galley that is no named, playing with your sanity is no game. Tryna find a clarity to go. I find it hard to be out, but if you ask me then I'll say I am. Even though I'm feeling so dark here at night, but I'm layered up, big coat, zipped to the top. I guess I've always got my guard up and hide, and if you look close you can see the scars in my eyes. It's just draining my inner pain mixed with the hardness of life. Mine's grey with the darkness of white, no stars giving light, so I'm here trying to chart with the mic on my own. High from my phone, yeah, see your name calling, but I slide like to ghost, I ain't like that, I know. But right now I'm in it and I'm living in the middle of a right manic zone, and I'm trying to be strong cause I'm mad, feeling like this is wrong, but it's not. I'm just finding my cons, and even as I'm writing this song feel like crying upon, cause I'm trapped in these lines and I'm gone like I've been in a zone way, lacking and I don't take happily to most days. Trapped up in my own brain, feel like I'm battling an old flame, and I'm feeling so drained. Tryna find a galley that is no named, playing with your sanity is no game. Tryna find a clarity to go, eh. Struggling to cope right now, looking for some hope right now, worrying a load right now, just pushing as I go right now till I'm all right now. Brother, I don't know right now, but I know that if I'm stubborn and it's so lights out, I gotta hustle like I know right now. This is more than road, it's my whole life now. I was on a mind game thing, so I had to let her go like that. No one's gonna fight your wins, so you gotta give your own mind slack. Be nice to yourself, try to remember you're alive and you're well. Let it hit you, then ride with the L. Just remember that your mind is your wealth.
I was lost in that then. What was that bit? Reminding yourself. Be nice to yourself. Oh, do that again.
Be nice to yourself. Try to remember you're alive and you're well. Let it hit you, then ride with the L. Just remember that your mind is your wealth.
Come on, people, hit
Come
the
on,
hearts,
man.
man.
That's
Let's have a heart
crazy.
attack
Let's
now,
have some
people.
heart
Come on, bang
attacks,
them
man.
out. There we go.
Wow,
There we go.
it's super late, so I just want to thank you, man, for having the stamina to to work through this, right? Because this is the sacrifice that we make for others to pass on that message of experience, strength, and hope, right? So I just want to thank you for taking the time out. Are you still working now, or are you back in tomorrow?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Are you working tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
He's back in working and
running up and down the field, and you have to get the kids doing the work.
Well, you're running tomorrow. You got a PT at 11.
I got a PT session.
No messing about, mate. We're out here doing our thing.
Well, I'm gonna have a lie-in till. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lie-in till 10 o'clock, and then
I'll be around knocking on the door.
That'd be nice.
Bang, bang. I know. What time are you up?
I'll be up at 6.
Come on, people. Look at this. He's here till 11. Get home in bed. I can't get sleep till about 1 after this as well.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Yeah, I might be the same tonight. But
I won't get sleep till about 1 after this, because it's always exciting, when you're speaking and your mind's on fire with this, because it's very engaging, isn't it, when you're all kind of chatting, and especially when there's so much identity around the table, right, and everyone's just like bouncing off each other, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah, these conversations are what expand me, and I feel inspired every time I get someone in who's an artist that I can relate to. I just listen and I can feel it, and then that makes me go and do something new. Like, I'll feel inspired from hearing your story, and I'll go and do something creative.
I'm totally inspired, mate. I want to go work with JSD now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man,
just because the level of the tracks have just it's kind of pushing me. I think I might rework the album, right?
Yeah, because we were talking just before before the show. I said to you, you pretty much wrote an album, haven't you? You've done some of the tracks, and then I know that I was like, oh, there's some more tracks you've got to write on here. I was just had some
like
mad
my
insight.
mate said to me.
Yeah,
he said that my mate said the same thing. To
yeah,
me.
felt it before, man. And we've obviously been hooked up with DryWave, massively hitting that, so you haven't had time to put loads of energy into it now.
Well, I knew when I wrote it, because I've always been one for writing things and just getting it out, get it out. But this time when I came back in recovery, I was like, my writing was at a whole new level. Because I think, because I relapsed right after 6.5 years clean, right? And the depth that I went to with drink and drug use was just crazy, mate. Like fully, like it was the lowest of the low. And because I was doing bits before that and loads of events, and it's just crazy times. And for I guess the ego to go from there to down there, I just didn't care anymore, you know, when I came back, and I was just like, I'm going to write this for me. And it was just like, you can tell in your album, like you wrote it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I had to get it out.
You can just hear that, like I said before, you can hear that wisdom and maturity coming through. And that's what came through me, because I wrote it for me. But it's a little bit raw, because I went on, we've heard of Carl Jung, right?
Yeah.
So Carl Jung did a process called the shadow, like delving into his shadow, right? Yeah. So this is kind of what I've done with the thing, but you know, when people hear this, they're gonna think they're gonna have to lock me up or something.
Well, we had Mr. Biscuit come out, which was your old school madman.
Yeah, got like this,
and he started. So he wrote the lyrics for Mr. Biscuit.
It's not actually. It's kind of like because I saw a lot of things, right, and I got involved in a lot of crazy, like dark stuff, and it kind of touches on a lot of the stuff that some stuff I didn't take part in, but some of the stuff that you know, we can be attracted.
The collective unconscious.
Yeah, we can be attracted by a lot of dark things, right? And I speak about stuff that people wouldn't usually speak about. And it's just a bit nuts, you know? But it's, it just, your album, your work, your writing style, the level of production, the you know, the melodies, everything about it, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah,
you know, I want my album to be like that.
Yeah.
It sounds cool now, don't get me wrong, it sounds cool, but I'd love it to be, because you got this there's a personal touch with your album that I'm like, because I've just I've listened I listened to tracks on SoundCloud and then I poured them off and I wrote to them, but all your track, everything's bespoke, right?
Yeah.
Everything's homegrown. That's why the album's called Homegrown.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of sound that I'd love to kind of capture.
Yeah. That's the best way I like to work, is get in a studio and, as I say, make the beat while I'm there, and I can have an input to that, you know, and either I'll have something written, because I write a lot anyway, sort of to other tracks, and then I'll go and make a beat with a similar vibe. Do you know what I mean? Or I'll write in the studio. You know, that I like working that way as well. You know, just seeing what comes there, and then in a 3-hour session. Obviously, I've got an ability where I can write quite quick, so that can work. You know, sometimes we can make a beat, I'm writing, and we can have it done in one session. Obviously, it'll take another couple of sessions to perfect it and get it sounding and mix it properly. But sometimes tracks can come together like that, and that's a nice way to work as well. Sometimes
I like that. Don't you get like scared when you've given your work, like you go, yo, I've got these bars, make something for me, mate? Are you not like kind of like itching, like a bit?
I guess not. I wouldn't say so, because I'm there and I'm part of the process. So it's not like I'm giving a producer the bars and I'm not there and I'm expecting a beat back. I'm there. I'm part of it. If it's going away where I feel, and I don't, as again, you know, let people do what they're good at. I don't have to do much with Jay, to be honest. You know, I do have an input, and obviously he's
a bit of a genius, isn't he, Jay?
But I don't have to do much, you know. But if it is going away, I don't want it to go. I'll say,
Yeah.
I think we need to sort of take that out and maybe put this sound in or change the melody, whatever. But I don't often have to do that. Jay's pretty good at nailing what I want.
And I think it's great on when I've seen your posts, you're always bigging up your team.
100%.
And that's massive because honestly, and I've seen it, a couple of posts that you put out and say, I just want to, big up my team, and then you put everyone down and everyone's input, and that's really important, and it's great that you do that.
Yeah, 100%, because, it's not nothing is just me. Do you know what I mean? That comes from recovery, that, knowing that you need others, but I want everybody to know how much. I don't expect anybody to do anything for me, and I want everybody to know that if they do, how much I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of artists who don't do it. I see a lot of artists working with people who I know and they don't credit him, and I just think, why aren't you crediting? People deserve the credit, man. They don't take much just to tag someone in a post, but that's just for me, and yeah, I think people enjoy it. I think people like that about me, that I credit everybody involved in the process.
And I think there's something massive that's taking place now, what I've noticed with yourself, Rio, some of Ben's stuff that he's been writing, and a lot, do you know, like how you were talking before, Ben, I think how you had to kind of humble yourself and come back from your ego and stuff, a bit like the process you went when you went to write. You probably would have gone back to that place, gone back into that ego, but you waited, you give it time. I remember Rio said the same, said, I can't write, got too much fear and I'm not sure, I'm just not in that place. And now when you're writing from a more centered, more mature kind of place, which I don't know if many artists have been doing, because they've not all gone through that process. And that's what I'm excited to see as the years progress now, as artists like yourself
same.
Get out there, because
there's something happening where all these artists who were before, who were growing up and who were spitting the bars, probably written for everybody else or for what they thought that, because I used to write from a place of what I thought people wanted to hear.
I mean, rap in general is about, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Most rap bars are, and that, first track we play bars. That's a lot of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like I'm cold. You know what I mean? So I suppose in music anyway, but certainly in rap music, there's that level of confidence that comes with it, and you have to have that confidence in your ability. If you don't have it and you don't believe in yourself in that way, why the hell are you doing it? But then obviously there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, isn't there? I was arrogant for many years, and that led to bitterness of why aren't I where he is, or why aren't I doing as well as they are? That's where arrogance leads. Confidence now knows that I know I am confident and I believe in my ability, but I believe that if I keep working hard and use it in the right way and keep my head screwed on, I'll get what's meant for me, and whatever that is, who knows, but I'll get what's meant for me. It can only be good. Because I'm only doing good. I'm only putting good out. Do you know what I mean?
You're right. It can only be Nothing bad's going to come from it, mate. And I feel that it's going to attract a lot of people who need to be attracted to the story that you're putting out, and to your story of breakdown and breakthrough. RJ with Homegrown, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the DryWave platform and sharing your story with all our listeners. It's been an absolute blessing. I've really enjoyed it. We're going to finish now and play your last track to take us out. Bro,
thank you.
Bless him, man. Come on.
What a night.
Easy, everybody, man. What a good, cool, crazy night, man. I'm absolutely shattered, man. I can hardly speak. Right, which track is it?
Thanks for staying locked in, people.
Oh, it's Mum.
Yeah, this track's called Mum. I don't think I need to give that an explanation, do I? It's called Mum. Here we go.
And we just had Mother's Day as well, right?
Yeah,
so
I played it for her on Mother's Day for the first time.
Yes.
It was a moment, man.
Oh, bro, don't.
It was a moment.
Don't. You'll have me.
Don't have him welling up again. I had him welling up last Wednesday.
Oh, I'm always welling up, man. I'm a right soft ass now. Okay, let's go.
Last track.
Ooh, nice.
I told you that I'm gonna pay you back one day. I just wanna see you all relax one day. Even though I know you're gonna pass one day. I hope I can show you all my thanks. I pray that we laugh one day. For so many years I had a mask on, facing a whole lot of fears. I was a trapped son, caged in my loneliest years, but you were mad strong, eh? You were my rock from the beginning. Since year 11 I was lost and on a mission to be copping what I didn't get a lot as a kid, living in debt. I just thought you wouldn't shop for what was dripping. I didn't understand the weight of all this. Clothing, feeding 2 kids whilst paying a mortgage. I know I should have been grateful we stayed in a bought crib and had tea every night, but I was hating on all kids. They had TNs and I didn't. Little did I know they had a BM and a Citroen, 2 cars and a drive. Mum and dad both work, but as a kid I didn't understand those terms. I got self-centered, feeling like the world owed me something. So I went and got my dough from pushing. I was on the road in your whip, got settled by a load of druggies. Never thought once about my only mummy. How you never raised me to be bad-mannered, but put a brandy in me. And I get angry quickly, trying to jack a man for pinkies. And I don't need the dough, I do it cause I can, it's risky. Dragging man to cash machines, it's not a handsome victory. For all of that I feel ashamed, but still achieving grades and all I passed with B's and A's cause you raised me good. The only reason that I stayed in touch half with the right side is cause of my amazing mum. I told you that I'm gonna pay you back one day. I just wanna see you all relax one day. Even though I know you're gonna pass one day. I hope I can show you all my thanks. I pray that we laugh one day. For so many years I had a mask on, facing a whole lot of fears. I was a trapped son, caged in my loneliest years, but you were mad strong, eh? I can never pay you back, but I can pay my tax and take you everywhere you wanna go and make you laugh. I'm glad that we can say the facts, and nowadays we're closer than we've ever been. It's evident that every single day it's past the times when you cry at night. I wish I could dry your eyes, but back then you was broken and you showed it. I was hiding mine, 6 when my dad left, so I thought I became a man. Now I know I never really grew up till I changed my glass. Yeah, swapped the room for tea and coffee like it must have been a rocky time, wondering where I was at night. Cars always pulling up, me always running out, knowing I went up to good but leaving me to run it out. I respect you so much for allowing me to make mistakes. I could never understand the pain you face, you triple mine cause you had yours. Mine and my sisters was Sunday morning cuppa with potato cakes, you had us living. Yeah, held it together through my dad's drinking. Held it together when he went and left you. Held it together through my mad binges. It's a miracle that you held it together, but that's a testament to your strength. All that's cleared over years, mum, I never knew the raw depth of what you suffered. And even now I know you don't recover, you just roll with it cause you're a mother. I told you that I'm gonna pay you back one day. I just wanna see you all relax one day. Even though I know you're gonna pass one day. I hope I can show you all my thanks. I pray that we laugh one day. For so many years I had a mask on, facing a whole lot of fears. I was a trapped son, caged in my loneliest years, but you were mad strong, eh?